Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie were supported by their husbands Edoardo Mapelli-Mozzi and Jack Brooksbank last night as they received the Queen's coffin at Buckingham Palace. On the steps of the grand entrance, King Charles and Queen Consort Camilla were joined by Prince William, Kate Middleton, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, along with the Earl and Countess of Wessex and their children Lady Louise and Viscount Severn, the Duke of York and his daughters and their husbands. The York sisters were pictured being driven into the palace ahead of the occasion in separate cars, with both Eugenie and Beatrice taking a seat in the front of their vehicles, while their husbands remained in the back of the car. It comes after Edoardo posted an emotional tribute to the Queen on his Instagram page shortly after her death last Thursday. Princess Eugenie kept her gaze straight ahead of her as she was driven into the palace last night. Zara Tindall looks dilapidated as she walks behind the Queen's coffin. She looks devastated to have lost her beloved grandmother. Sat in the back of the car, and could be seen looking directly ahead of him as they drove through the rainy streets of London. Her husband Mike Tindall was silent during the procession. The father of one works for property tycoon Mike Meldman, a long-standing business partner of George Clooney, and the couple are currently splitting their time between the UK and Portugal. Meanwhile, as Princess Beatrice was driven into the palace last night, she could be seen looking straight ahead of her. The royal mother of two was wearing a black outfit, with her red hair falling across her shoulders. Meanwhile, her husband Edo sat in the back of the vehicle, and looked out at royal crowds as they drove through the palace gates. Mourners cheered and clapped in the rain as the new state hearse, which the late monarch helped to design, traveled down Constitution Hill and around the Queen Victoria Memorial, slowing on its approach, before driving through the gates of the palace and through the central arch into the quadrangle. With a glass roof and large side windows, the hearse was designed to give members of the public a clear view, and featured interior lights that shone brightly in the gloomy London evening. Outriders stopped with their heads bowed at the end of the journey, while a police officer at the gate saluted. People also cheered "Hip Hip Hooray" after the coffin drove under the arch, with many putting down their umbrellas as a sign of respect. It marked the first time the two men have been pictured with their wives since the Queen's death on Thursday. Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie joined other members of the royal family at Balmoral last week following the Queen's death. And the girls' deep bond with their grandmother was apparent on Friday as they looked incredibly emotional while reading tributes to the late monarch outside the gates of the castle. The sisters held hands as they read tributes, with both openly wiping tears away from their eyes and accepting hugs from their father Prince Andrew. The appearance of Edoardo and Jack last night comes after Edo paid his respects to the Queen in a heartfelt Instagram message on Friday, saying it has been incredibly hard to process the last 24 hours. He revealed his children Wolfie, 6, whom he shares with his ex Dara Huang, and daughter Sienna, who turns 1 this month, spent time with the monarch in Balmoral this summer. Edo wrote that he and his wife Beatrice were broken-hearted by the news, adding, "Incredibly hard to process the last 24 hours. What an incredible woman and extraordinary mark she's left on the entire world. She was the rock on which modern Britain was built." Feeling very lucky that our little ones got to spend time with her this summer. Rest is peace, Your Majesty. We will miss you so much. Meanwhile, he also shared a previously unseen photo of the Duke of Edinburgh and Queen at his wedding to Princess Beatrice in 2020. The unseen picture showed the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh standing side by side during the ceremony, which took place at the Royal Chapel of All Saints at Royal Lodge in Windsor. Dressed in a pastel blue dress and matching jacket, with a matching hat adorned with flowers, the Queen was positively beaming as she watched her granddaughter get married to her Italian beau. She was accompanied by the Duke of Edinburgh, who looked in good spirits in a black suit. The monarch, who was looking at the young couple standing out of shot, was also clutching the weddings program in her hands. The presence of the Queen and Prince Philip at the event had made the ceremony even more special, because it was socially distanced due to COVID-19 restrictions in place at the time. He also shared a black image with the Queen's insignia and her year of birth and death. Elsewhere, he shared rare archive pictures of the Queen with a young Charles and Princess Anne, a portrait of her with Prince Philip, and a sweet snap of the monarch walking her corgis. One picture showed a young Queen, wearing sunglasses and sat behind the wheel of a black car in Windsor with a young King Charles and Princess Royal sat by her side, with royal fans snapping their pictures in the back, in 1957. Another photograph, shot in black and white, showed the sovereign looking regal in a gown and wearing her royal sash and tiara, sat next to the Duke of Edinburgh in his navy uniform. This picture was taken a year into her year in 1953. A fourth, sweet image showed the monarch dressed in a stylish teal ensemble walking one corgi and two dorgies on the grounds of Balmoral in 1974. Edo's sweet homage comes as the world is still reeling for the news of the Queen's passing, with many royal fans having travelled to Buckingham Palace in London to pay their respect.